Hello there, fellow oppressed Zimbabweans. Do not be afraid of the Zimbabwean military because the Zimbabwean military as an institution belongs to you. It is your institution. It is set up to protect you. It is set up by you, led by people chosen by you or on your behalf for your interests, not the interests of the individuals that hold those positions. Therefore, do not be afraid of the sinful men and women who are part of the Zimbabwean military leadership who are looting our country dry. Who are they? Do they go with bombs strapped on their bodies? And those bombs and guns in the military belongs to you and me. Those are our arsenal, so theirs. So do not be lied to by these individuals who are sinning, who are stealing, who are corrupt to the core, who have got nothing but corruption in their minds. The moment they wake up in the morning, they're thinking about the mines that belong to the Zimbabwean children. Those mines need to produce profit and taxable income that should be used to build our schools, hospitals, roads, and an economic ecosystem that functions for everyday livelihoods of other Zimbabweans. But these corrupt old men who have got no business whatsoever being called my general, have got no shame whatsoever but to wake up every day and conspire against the citizens of Zimbabwe. It's high time you citizens know who you are, what your rights are, and do not fear them. I repeat, my name is Ngobani Zondo. I say, do not fear my general, military. They've been abusing you for over 43 years. Millions of you Zimbabweans have left Zimbabwe and gone to foreign lands where you are second-class citizens, and you are fearing only 10, 15, 20 men. General, they just wear these army uniforms. There is nothing under that army uniform. Is just a human being, just like you and me. And that uniform, they wear it because you gave them the right and the mandate to protect you. But instead of protecting you, they have used that position to oppress you. And therefore, I say, do not fear them. You know who they are. Do not fear them and walk in the streets freely. Whether they want to kill you, they must do whatever it is that they want to do. Holy is Jehovah. Holy. God says it's time. Zimbabwe, God says it is time for you to be free. Ndapota hangu zvanzi naMwari ndikutaurira Zimbabwe kuti it is time for you to be free from these gentlemen in the military. Now, let me prophesy to you, gentlemen in the military. Listen to me and listen to me very well. My name is Ngobani Zondo and I'm a man of God. And I'm not going to lie to you. God is not happy with what you're doing in the country. Because you believe that you, Murima General, no one can touch you. You are right. No one can. God is not a person. He is Jehovah. He is God. He will touch you. And He will touch you in the middle of the night. At 2 a.m. in the morning, when you're sleeping in your bed, God will come and touch you there. There will be no Zimbabwean. There will be nobody talking to you. Just at 2 a.m. in the morning, no one there. God will come to your bed and He will touch you the way that God touched an unscrupulous businessman. Holy is Jehovah. So therefore, as we stand and we prophesy against Harare, be very careful who we are prophesying against. It is the military men of Zimbabwe, not the institution. The institution belongs to us. It is ought to serve our interests. Therefore, let no general send military intelligence or the CIOs to arrest Zimbabweans or to abuse Zimbabweans or to be violent against Zimbabweans that are standing up for their rights. If there's any Zimbabwean who stand up for their rights according to the institution, to the constitution, and there's military general who sends CIO agents to act against Zimbabweans, to sabotage the Zimbabweans, that those agents that are being sent have got the right to refuse. Even the soldiers in Zimbabwe have got the right to refuse an unjust command by your commander-in-chief who are acting in their own selfish interests and not in the interest of the citizenry. Because remember, even you as a soldier in the military under oath to serve under a certain military general, you too are a citizen of Zimbabwe at the very same time, and you cannot be held liable for the actions that you are that you are made to do by that general. But however, you also have a mind. You also have a brain to think and see that this is not right. I cannot be a soldier and be sent to shoot my people when knowing very well I'm shooting them to protect an individual, not the institution. So these generals, military generals, are not protecting the institution, they are protecting themselves. Okay, so it is selfishness, selfish military leadership in Zimbabwe that is leading to millions of people to be suffering. And therefore, we need to stand up against my general. These generals must go, not just to be calling for Itim Nangako to go, but you must be calling for the military generals to go. My position, aya. Okay, don't say, they've got, they don't have power. These are just positions. They do not even have military might. The military might belongs to the people. It does not belong to the military generals. My generals are just people that we chose to lead us so we can recall them, we can fire them, we can remove them from those positions because they have abused those positions and use them for personal enrichment and using international global financial systems to bank the loot. So we need to investigate the illicit financial parts that they use to keep to bank our money in foreign jurisdictions, foreign jurisdict jurisdictions, whatever. And we need those financial institutions in those nations to be liable to Zimbabwe scrutiny. We need to scrutinize what they're doing and how is it allowed that they accept stolen funds from countries like Zimbabwe. Whether it is HSBC that does it, we need to know it. Whether it is Lloyd's Bank, whether it's JP Morgan, whether it's Citibank, whether it's Stairs or whichever bank, Barclays, KPMG, Ernst and Young, these accounting firms need to be investigated or engaged in order to vomit the Zimbabwean money that they are keeping, because that is a bad PR for them. We should chase the rabbit even that wall. We need to engage with these foreign governments that are willing to give licenses uh, to financial institutions that operate that way, who are uh, uh, who are used to bank illicit, stolen, looted funds from poor, unsuspecting Zimbabweans who have got no chance against these Zaniots. So these Zaniots need to be fought by the power and might of global institutions and and global governments like China. In fact, going forward, China should be our friends. The CCP and Uncle Xi should be our friends in our fight against the unscrupulous ZANU PF men and women, and also unscrupulous, corrupt Zimbabwean generals in the Zimbabwean military. Do not say we are fearing the military. They are not the military, they are people. Okay, those generals have got their jobs because of us, the citizens. We are the ones who put them there. We should remove them there. And therefore, it is in the interest of the Chinese military and the Chinese CCP and Xi Jinping to be on our side, to aid us in what we do, to also to force the Chinese banking system to open up its books to see where the money that is in those books is coming from, and how is it that billions from Zimbabwe are banked in the Chinese financial system. China is trying to build a financial system that is going to compete with the American Swift. So, one way for China to have an edge is to demonstrate transparency. In fact, one of the stumbling blocks in the development of the BRICS Bank is that BRICS countries do not trust each other. So China can demonstrate its transparency by pursuing illicit financial flows from countries that are corrupt like Zimbabwe. That will give confidence to the China's leadership in BRICS, and it will give the other countries, that confidence to really fast track the BRICS currency, because it is the BRICS currency that needs a financial leadership from one big country, and the biggest country in BRICS is China, and therefore China needs to demonstrate its ability to fight illicit financial flows, and also its ability to install and instill a regulatory environment that can be respected, that is robust, that can be feared by these corrupt politicians around the world. In that way, China would have a gateway in really competing with United States SWIFT system. And therefore, people like Itim Nangagwa and ZANU-PF who are banking on their Chinese backup needs to be very, very afraid right now, because going forward, China's military and the CCP are interested in becoming global citizens in global economics and global financing, and they will want to distance themselves from corrupt election thieves like Itim Nangagwa and ZANU-PF. They like to distance themselves from corrupt militaries who do nothing but oppress their own people. This Chinese military, which is multiple times stronger than the Zimbabwe military, has got the opportunity and space to oppress the Chinese. But what do? They use their military strength to build the Chinese economy, to build the livelihoods of the Chinese people, but not the Zimbabwean military. The Zimbabwean military use their little military strength to destroy people. It's like somebody with a small thing and going around destroying other people. Okay, so we need to put pressure on the Chinese military, on the Chinese leadership, to understand that their growth in the global leadership is not just increasing GDP, but it is also improving their, their global perception as far as uh, uh, legality of financial flows is concerned, as far as dealing with corrupt leaders is concerned. So, China to become a global leader cannot lead the world without policing the world. Countries accuse the United States of being a global police. However, you cannot be a global superpower and not be a global police. Policing is part and parcel of superpower mentality. And therefore, China needs to have some level of policing outside China. And that is how we are going to build these relationships and trust. We need to work with China now and even in the next governance system in order for us to understand that we should have a legal framework to fall back on should we be disadvantaged by the Western leadership. The Western countries have been watching ZANU-PF doing as it pleases, and fortunately, they have had sanctions, but those sanctions have not brought anything tangible to the suffering masses in Zimbabwe. And I leave this to the discussion of the Chinese leadership and the American leadership on what to do with the bad boy in Harare and the very, 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 very bad boys in the Zimbabwe military. Holy is God.